Thanks for watching. Today we're going to do another quick video on custom parameters, just maybe with a little bit more clarity on some of the things that are involved. So before you learn formulas, you absolutely must learn a few other things in Mozaik. Well, first of all, you need to know traditional bed mass, the math function. You also need to know how to use the parts editor. So that would be this menu right here, to really utilize custom formulas in their best use case. You're gonna want to know how to use the part editor. This is where it really shines. It's all throughout Mozaik, but this is what you need to know first. Learn the part editor. I have a video on it. Then you're gonna want to learn how parameters work. So let's go into parameters. We'll just go to it in here. So there's the different levels of parameters. I'm not going to go into it, but basically this whole menu, you're going to want to know at least what is going on here. You want to know what this menu is for. You want to know what it does. You want to know what a lot of these things do in order to use custom formulas. The last thing you're going to want to know how to use at least a little bit on is the material templates, and this will pull up your thicknesses of materials, what materials you're using. You want to kind of have an idea of what this menu is and how this works as well. So once you've learned all these things, then you can jump into the custom formulas. So custom formulas are just about everywhere in Mozaik. If you anywhere you look and see this little calculator, that's the custom formula menu. So if you click that, it'll bring up this, which is the custom formula menu. So what is the custom formula menu? It's a menu that allows you to build a bed mass formula that you can insert numbers, you can insert parameters. So those, again, this is the same menu that we just showed. You can insert this phrase right here, DWOPH, and it will insert this value in where that is in the formula. So helpful in that way. And that goes for any of these. So any of these parameters here, you can dump into a custom formula. It allows you to, so you can build formulas with parameter values. You can build it with cabinet attributes, and this little box here shows you which cabinet attributes are available. Everything is under the parameter here, so you can use width, which is the width of the cabinet. So you could do something like width divided by 2. You want to have a hole, or something like that. So it'd be W divided by 2, and then you'll get 24 divided by 2 as the current value. You can have, so parameters, parameter values, cabinet values, part values. So in here as well, you can have like part width and part length. So those are two very common ones that you would use. And then there's also like box height, box width, box depth. So drawer sizes, you might want to use something there. Open width, so it's the insert, like the opening of the width, opening of the height, opening of the depth. That's these formula. These are ones that you would use more often than not. The last thing you'd want to use is the material templates. So basically what you want to do here, and if you click here, it'll show you which part type it is. So say I want to call up the door thickness. All you have to do is write this part type and then put a period on the end and th. So say I want to call that up, and I type in here door.th. That's calling up that 3/4. So that's basically what that means. So just a brief, what do they do? Now, another thing is when to use formulas. You don't always want to dive into using a formula, and quite frankly, a formula is almost a last resort if you can't perform what you're trying to do in another way. A lot of things you can do just strictly in the parameters menu. You can do all kinds of things just in this menu here in modifying your cabinet. Another thing you can do is you can do it in the shape tab. Mozaik also has side shaping, front and side shaping now. So that it allows us as designers even more flexibility in, and Mozaik will do a lot of the hard work in figuring out your part sizes. So you're going to want to try to use this feature first. Another thing too is, like, say you have a part here and you just want to put a notch in it or something. I'm just going to quickly add a little notch here. Kind of like a secondary option to a custom formula is these little anchor points. So say you want to lock this in its position right here, you can anchor it in the top right corner. This one here, you can anchor it in the top right corner, or maybe in the bottom right corner. I don't know. You can anchor that one in the bottom left corner, and so on. And then when you stretch it out, you can see which ones are anchored properly. So that's basically, you want to try and do anything other than formulas that you can. There is certain cases where when you've learned a lot in Mozaik that formulas become sort of second nature to you, you would jump into a formula first. But I wouldn't recommend being a kind of a first time learner jumping into a custom formula, because it's a little daunting to say the least. So another reason that you'd want to use a custom formula is if you're doing an operation. If you have, like, say you have a bore hole and you want to do a bunch, like 4 bore holes in the corners. If you can use this little copy paste feature here, but if you copy and paste that, it's just going to paste it right in the center. However, if you've locked that in the corner with a formula, it doesn't even have to be a full formula. Like, this could be 100 millimeters. And also, I should note, everything in the formula box has to be in millimeters. You either have to take an inch and times it by 25.4, or they've put a, what is the same as, where is it? What is the same as 25.4? You can type in 2 millimeters, maybe for clarification's sake. If you're typing out a really long formula, that makes it a little bit easier to see, oh, here, this is where I did my conversion to millimeters. So if you typed in 4, like say I want 4 inches, it's really 4 millimeters, so it's going to give you 1/8 of an inch, a little heavy. So you want to make sure that you're doing it in millimeters, or 4 times 2 millimeters gives you 4 inch. So say I have one there, and I'm just going to show you this copy paste feature. So if you have that, and then you go here and you have 100 mil, let's do 4 times 2 millimeter. Okay, so now I have one hole at 4 and 4. If I copy and paste that, it puts it in that same spot and copies the formula. So that's one reason to use a custom formula, is because when you copy and paste an operation, if you've built it out with all formulas, you can copy and paste everything, and then when you paste it, sometimes you just want a hole to move down an inch or something, but you don't want to have to retype in all these other things going on here. So copy and fill it out with a formula, you can copy and paste it and then just change that one number. Makes it a little easier that way. So basically, formulas are meant to make something parametric, or they're not meant to, but a big point of the feature of a custom formula is to build out a cabinet with custom features that stretches with the cabinet, which is what parametric means. You can have this notch in here, and then as your cabinet stretches, it stays that size, the size that you need it to be, or a radius, or a bulge, or whatever sort of, or the depth, whatever, it always stays the same no matter what changes in your cabinet. If you type it out in the right way, you can have it automatically adjust with your cabinet stretch. And another thing is, you wouldn't necessarily want to use a formula unless, again, there is exceptions to this, but most of the time when you're using custom formulas, you're doing it in your actual library, your full product library, because you're trying to build something out that will work with every kitchen that you drop it into, or every millwork project that you drop it into. So usually you'll be doing it in your personal library, or in say the door library, or again, this pops up in quite a few spots. So how are custom formulas used? It depends where you are in Mozaik, because in certain spaces it does different things. In all the spaces, you're basically building a bed mass function to create a number, and that's basically all you're doing. And in the part editor, you're creating a number in what is basically just an XY grid on the part editor, and say you want that number to stay at 2. You're creating the number to pick that point at 2. So that's basically how that works. If you go into somewhere like, let's go over to the door menu. In here, something like this, you can have custom pockets, custom operations on a door. Say your depth needs to be a parameter. It needs to be, door thickness minus 0.125. Mozaik automatically figured this out, but you get the idea of where, and that would be 0.125 times 2 millimeters. So anyways, you get the idea that it pops up all over the place in Mozaik. And if you go, even here, where's another one? Let's go to the hardware menu. Even the lock menu, see there's another custom parameter in there, or custom formula. Custom formula. It's very advanced, but also very powerful when you learn it. So I'd say stick to learning everything else, and once you've mastered everything else, then now it's time to jump into formulas. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use that if feature in there. So let's go into find a shelf, edit operations. So there may be an operation that you want to hide. I'm going to make it big. I'm going to say 4 inches, full depth, so I have a big old hole in the middle of it. And is it showing it in the... It shows it in here, but it doesn't show it in here. But that's okay. We can work with that. So, got a hole there. You can also do this. You can see I have a hole. So, let's double click that. We're going to go edit operations. We're going to select this. And for this hide formula here, I'm going to set it at 0. 0 means show. Okay, so it's going to show this always. However, if I go width, so this is under reserved, which gives you the current cabinet's parameters and stuff. If the width of the product, so it's currently 36. If the width of the product, if the width is greater than 38, oops. But we got to make sure to put times 2 millimeters, 38 times 2 millimeters, then 1, which is 1 equals hide. It's going to hide the operation. So 0 equals show the operation, 1 equals hide the operation. And you have to add the 0 as the regular formula, and if this happens, then hide it. So we're going to add that. So now you have 2. And you can have lots of formulas in here. You can add all different kinds of things in here. For starting, I would start with doing something real simple, just like this. Just try exactly what I just did on your computer. So we click OK. And we click OK. And you can see I still have my hole. But if I change this to 30, it won't do it at 38. If I did it 38.25, and then I look, my hole is now gone. And we can let's keep that open so you can see it. And we'll even go perspective. And when I set this at 37, boom, my hole pops back up. So as you can see, it's could be pretty powerful depending on what you're doing. You can do all kinds of things with this, with that, and it's not just the hide feature. You can use the formulas in that nature in other ways as well. You can use that here, like, you know, if whatever is such depth, then do this or whatever. There's all different kinds of things you can do. So the last thing I want to show you, which is a really great feature in Mozaik, and it's kind of it's tricky to describe, maybe not. We'll just do it and we'll see how it goes. So first I'm going to delete this. We're going to go back and do another cutout for the shelf again. I'm going to rebuild that so it's the same as it was before. If you hit rebuild, it deletes all your custom formulas and everything. So then just resets it back to what it was before. So in this case, I have the shelf. I'm going to go edit shape actually. I'm going to add a point. I'm going to add a point. I'm going to add a point. I'm going to, oops, wrong one. Add a point right there. Well, I moved that a little bit. Okay, move that point over there. There. Okay. So, say I want to have this, but I also want to be able to control how these points move. So, I still want this to be, maybe I want to be able to control the width of the cutout in the cabinet and how deep it is. So, there's a few things we have to do to set it up in order to come back to the formulas to get it to work. So we're going to go OK, we're going to go OK. We'll just leave that as is for now. So here what we want to do is come to the parameters tab, and you want to make your own parameter. Make it up, make whatever you want. I'm going to call it cutout. This one doesn't matter. This is just a description to explain what this actually does. So it's the cutout width. And I'm going to call it cutout. It can't be the same as any of the parameters that it currently exists. And it has to be one, no spaces, just one word. Cutout W. Okay, and then I'm going to add another one that's cutout D for depth. And I'm going to write cutout depth from back. Okay, and my value, because I control this parameter, I'm going to put it as 6 inches as the width. Yeah, 6 inches, that'll be fine. And then 16 inches for the depth. Okay, so let's click all right. And in this case, you don't have to do it in millimeters because you're running by this here. So let's click OK. Or first, now we're going to go to parameters. So we're going to go here. We're going to go edit operations. Or actually shape. We're going to go to the shape tab. And then we're going to edit these points, and we're going to use custom formulas to make it parametrically move with it. So what I got here is I have my X location here. So what I'm trying to do is I got to go to the center, and I have to divide cutout width by 2. So we're going to go cutout width divided by 2. And I also have part length divided by 2. So if I go part length divided by 2, that gets me here. And I want to minus cutout width divided by 2. Okay, so then we have this. And all I'm trying to do here is I need to go from the back. So I got part width. As you can see, this is the width, it's got the W here, and this is the length, it's got the L here. So width minus cutout, what did I write? Depth, I think D, or I can't remember. That might be wrong. Let's pause that and double check here. We don't want to, yeah, cutout D. Okay, so that's working correctly. Let's go edit, oh, sorry, edit shape. So we got this point. So our X and our Y are currently good. Now you can copy these. So the X location is the same for this one here. So I'm gonna go X, I'm gonna go like that. And then this one here. So we have, oh, this location is the same, so we can go here, copy that, and I can paste that right here. Okay, so the X is located. Now I'm just going to locate my Y, which is going to be, sometimes they got to get a pen and paper out to try and figure this out. So I got to go part length divided by 2, and then plus half of the cutout width. So part length divided by 2, and then plus cutout width divided by 2. Okay, and if that works correctly, I'm going to want to copy that, so I just highlight and Control C, and then I'm going to take that same formula, I'm going to paste it in here, and there we go. So 6 inches is what I asked for here, and I asked for 16 here, so that's working correctly. Let's click OK, click OK, and you can see here I have my cutout. So the real awesome feature to this is now if I go here and I change my cutout depth to 10 inches, it updates it. So this is what I'm talking about when I say parametric. You've now got, all you have to do, you spend some serious brain power to try and set something up, and then you're reaping the benefits of making things easier for yourself for infinity. You really have no, as long as you're still using Mozaik, you're still reaping the benefit of the time that you spent to set up a formula. Cutout width, we can set that at something crazy like 15. And as you can see, oops, it jumped it up to 15 inches. And we'll just double check that's working correctly. Let's go to the top view. And we can just measure it out maybe. 15 inches, that's working good. And then we're going to go here, and I got 10 inches. So this is probably the best use case of a formula, is when you can get into make your own parameters and then drive custom things into your parts with these custom parameters in the formulas. That's all I could really teach you on custom formulas. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.